The Riddler's fair day. The sun woke over Gotham City like every other day. The radio and TV in Gotham blared with the Riddler's voice. Good people of Gotham, I know we haven't seen each other in quite some time. I've been reading, unfortunately for you. I was reading Stephen King's The Gunslinger, the Dark Tower saga, and lo and behold, I have a holiday episode. You see, the stars of the book Hometown has a fair day riddling competition every September 23rd, a riddling holiday. So this, including the prize goose, I'll disarm the dirty bomb I had helped build on my hiatus with the Joker. So come, Gotham, everyone's invited. You better not RSVP me. Go, learn, find all the riddles you can and challenge yourselves. I'm so happy. I'm only not I'm so happy. I'm only going to be a judge. See? Look at that. Happy Fair Day. You don't even have to beat me. It's like Halloween twice. From now from now on, take that, Christmas. You are Xmas. Today's August 31st. Get it? This is happening. I'll see you all on the 23rd of September in Contour Park. Can't you feel how great this is, Gotham? I'm back. The huge pink flower opened. Ivy was not impressed with the Riddler's party as much as he was. She was not going to let those stinky humans party on her. She had headed down as a huge pile of thick roots built up from in front of her, becoming like a table as the smaller ones turned into a bowl. She began secreting a sparkling green liquid from her lips. Batman was no pushover. He would definitely stop her from stopping him, plus find the bomb. That goody two-shoes always stops everything. She would do for a simple She would do for a sample of his blood. She knew he's not just a simple human. Maybe he's advanced. Maybe he's definitely more than human. Maybe a mutant or some kind of... I'm gonna need reinforcements. Something bigger than some goons, she thought to herself, pondering the situation. Apparently Gotham wasn't the only city that Riddler invited to the newfound holiday. Superman is working out in his Kryptonian Phantom Zone generator. Working out in his Kryptonian Phantom Zone generator 5-gear strength pressure builder. For every gear it increases the tolerance in his body. Gear 1 equals the weight of Earth. Gear 2 equals Earth's sun. Gear 3 is a Betelgeuse-sized star. 4 is a CY Canis Majora star. And 5 is a black hole. The only thing it can't match is a gamma ray burst. He's currently only reaching... He only reaches Gear 1. The strength number 1 is 6 till... He's currently only uses Gear 1. He don't see much point of why he would need more than that. Gear 1 equals 6 trillion pounds. 6 trillion tons. That's 1 with 21 zeros after it. Brainiac uses the Batwave to call Bruce. Connecting. Please hold. Connected. Batman, are you alone? Kinda in the middle of 9 or 10 things, but go ahead. I see your riddlers broadcast. They put an invitation out to the whole East Coast. Yeah, I used my Batwave tracking system that I just got fully operational. I even reconfirmed its stability. I have the Riddler every move for the past 3 weeks. He brought he bought the book series 2 weeks ago. I'm 95% sure he's lying. I still don't think I can overlook it though. My network's too new, and it could be a good angle to keep Grayson occupied. Yes, your new apprentice. Don't you think it's kind of dangerous for both you and Wayne to have a new ward at the same time? I'm a ninja first. I was in the shadows for 4 years before I decided to make myself known. If he can't keep up as a little Robin, I'll pluck his wings and find another way to utilize the bat in him. You do know if the boy gets hurt, I'll maroon you on the nearest inhabitable Earth-like planet. Well, Earth-like atmosphere, right? Fair enough. I knew we'd get along. It's time. It's the time wearing underwear. I knew I'd look far enough. It's still the wearing the underwear on the outside thing, isn't it? Bruce, Batman. Ever since Dick Grayson had found Bruce heading towards the secret door with the fireman pole behind it, he's been ecstatic. Did Bruce show him on purpose, or was he a creature of habit and forgot that Grayson was even there? These questions, with a million others, guided his path far into the future, far past the pain of Nightwing. It was the voice of Batman, a voice that slowly carved its way into his genetic code. The voice that was bigger than him. It held onto everything he was and wanted to be. Nightwing, the name of the avatar in a video game he would start playing in a few years. Bruce found this assuring. The only way Grayson would ever be able to carry the mantle of the Bat was if he found himself was stronger than the Robin inside. It was the flaw with all the Robins who came after him. They put 100% into building the strength and skills, but Batman was intent on knowing everything. Everything he couldn't find in books. He found it on the streets. He built him. It wasn't a mask to play for theatrics. It was a machine to command. When he wasn't training or reading or designing or building or deconstructing or maintaining his cover story, he was crawling through the tiniest holes, from the ground to the sky. The fact that how he seen himself as a human first was his greatest strength. It's easier to mimic a rat than pretend to fly like a bat. Now, with Grayson involved, he opened a new chapter in his psychological cure for Gotham. With the influx of the villain element in Gotham, the seed that was bigger than the gangster, the crime lord, the economic gluttons. He never had a father, and he was 7 when he never had the preceding roles to hear. His parents only talked to a child. He had no memories of the voice. All he knew was the voice of the city, the voice of Alfred, his own voice, a voice that steers them when nothing else will. He would learn the name Father. He would make himself worthy of the title. Batman turned his attention to Grayson, who was learning the repetition. Head, chest, knees, toes, leap forward, leap, backflip, repeat. Batman watched him and wondered, do I give him my cassette tapes or wait for him to ask? It's still early. I suppose I should see his resolve. So he gave him a bat belt and brought him over to the Batwave console. The Riddler, Edward E. Nigma, IQ 175, weight 165 pounds. Attended and graduated MIT full honors in 5 years. Was an employee of Wayne Industries. Industries? I thought it was Enterprise. It's a long story. Enigma was working on a mind-reading technology and had an accident. It squirreled his mind, and henceforth turned all his resentment to both me and Bruce Wayne. A dangerous perception. We have a distinct responsibility to keep the world as far away from our skills, abilities, utilities as we can. We can't let anybody find anything about us. It's why I put the cage in the front of the bat wheel next to the tires, so that they wouldn't even see the inside of the Batmobile. If they knew we tracked them like we do, they learn how to avoid and build things to thwart us. These are monsters. Don't be fooled by their human skin. We won't kill them. We won't fear them. But we will never underestimate them. If you put anyone in a corner, they will fight harder. If you threaten them with prison, they will kill you. The Killer Croc, aka Waylon Jones, one of worked once worked with Baby Doll, a 2-foot tall former actress who got tired of being treated like a child and found a soulmate with Jones. Two peas in the pod, both pushed down by Gotham's moral ambiguity, off reading and judging books by their cover. We will not do this. We will always know where the monsters hide, in both human bodies and on Earth. When you're done going over these case files on Nigma and his common traits, finish your repetition. I test you on Nigma tomorrow after school. Grayson was a machine. He dived right into it without a blink. And that's even knowing he's not done with the repetitions. Bruce ordered him to do the repetitions until he passes out. Alfred always had a meal and a few soft seat options for him when he woke. Bruce would have him doing the repetitions on every third day to start with. Strength force destroys. Batman's not destroying the boy, just his misconceptions. For this mission and any other for the past 5 years or so would be supervised by Alfred, doing Alfred's part, never leaving the cave. Grayson might be an expert carnival act, but Batman shows him rather early what little good that does against Batman's platform test. It took a long time before Grayson could match Batman's speed, even with the handicaps of having his own tables and objectives without being induced by a drug. This was Dick Grayson. This was his part of Batman, to learn how to be Alfred. Batman, on the other hand, had only 19 days left to find the dirty bomb. Grayson's eyes and minds never strayed. He was Dick at school and Robin in the cave. Alfred even reported him reading up on riddles and riddle books in case Batman needed him in other ways. A billionaire's reach is greater than any library, and he got all the best books. He studied hard, and home and school. It was right. The streets were buzzing with the announcement of the Riddler's dirty bomb. First, Joker has one in Suicide Squad 2, and now the Riddler was stepped up, and he was trying to make a name for himself. The citizens of Gotham didn't know what to think. The years have gave them thick skin, the kind of skin bad guys hated. It was coarse, hard to cut, didn't run in fear, didn't act like the people intended them to act. This only increased their resolve. The mob had to cut more people. None of them likes to hear, "You're not even Killer Croc, screw you." This was the reason Black Mask was able to take over the city so easily. He wasn't afraid to screw them with screwdrivers. Most when pushed off will fold if the stakes or the gore in Gotham gets too thick. Most people will avoid it. Black Mask seen the city for what it was, prime real estate. The villains played their games with the public, but you never heard of one of them taking on the mob, except maybe the Joker, but he'll take on hell if he gets in his way. So easy enough. Avoid the villains and do your jobs, he told his men. Batman spent hours looking over the streets, and the rest of his time overlooking the media. Where did riddlers hack into the server from? Was there a blind spot in his calculations? This only intensified his doubt that there may be a dirty bomb. His life revolved around doubt and misconception. He was a Gothamite, and his skin was just as thick by birth. But ever since he put on the cape and cowl, his skin began to thin. He was putting their lives in his hands. He may have lost some weight, freeing up the Joker obsession, but was that a good idea? Will he ever gain back what he lost? These were questions that tore into his Robins and everyone else who would hide under a mask. In the end, him and Gordon were the only two still intact, hence the reason for beginning to drink in his hiatus after the last Robin left. His Robins, his Robins, Gordon's daughter, Fox's son. They survived, but can they say intact? He spent many hours washing these thoughts with the bottle, and they became the confirming authority when he allowed Terry McGinnis to become Batman. Even after the Timothy Drake incident with the Joker, and who in turn killed the Joker for good reason. But that was years in the future. And funny how these same types of thoughts carry the same types of ways. Etiquette dictates Batman holds strong, but how long can you sit, white-knuckled, and not become what you chase? Superman, so fast, so smart, such strong senses. For Poison Ivy, he was easier than a child. A strong breeze of pollen, crackling of nature all around him, and added the bonus of not being from his common associates. As his focus grew on the area around him, her window grew. The vine crept up, always staying on his back, shifting with him from side to side as he looked around. When a hand grew out of the top of the flower like a flower bud. It touched the unsuspecting lips. She watched his speed, watched his determination, as he watched a pile of plants he'd just seen standing and rise up and become a full green girl. He was gone, passed out. Poison ivy, poison out while still standing up. Poison ivy did it. Her mind toxin enhancement worked. She owned the Superman. Now, Riddler, it's your turn. Her hand unraveled and swung open. Go, my beauties. Find our betrayer. Find him for me. Tell me where he is. Alfred came in from Batman's headphones. Batman, we have the Joker in the 6th Ave and 49th Street. He's alone. He shows condition yellow. I think he's just out causing trouble. Right. Call the police. On it. Wait, what? Was that the satellite condition monitors have just gone red? It looks like a missile or a small aircraft just sped into the city's northern border. Put Kal-El on the phone. Why is he in Gotham without calling first? Yes, sir. Batman paused on the building ledge, nearly too thin to stand on. Sir, no answer. On him or Mr. Kent's cell phone. That's unusual. Keep trying. I'm headed for Sector 39. Why is this city so large? The police arrived at the Joker's location, but got into a gunfight with Black Spider, who apparently was also on the Joker's trail. The police called in SWAT and surrounded the building. Joker was long gone. Van Zandt ran in here, escaping the gunfire. After facing the Bat and being stabbed in the hand by his batarang, he decided to go with a heavier suit of armor. It could withstand bullets, just not a SWAT team worth of precision shots from high caliber rounds. If he knew what red phone was ringing, he would have chose to eat those bullets. See, Mrs. Waller had come across the Dirty Bomb intel and decided Black Spider was Suicide Squad operable. If not for her second mission, then the third. If not for the second mission, then he would be used for the third. She had turned Gotham into her own personal evil Garden of Eden. Every trait a heavier trained Alpha unit Maverick would ever want without spending. Hold on. Every trait a heavily trained Alpha unit Maverick would ever want, and she didn't have to spend a dime on a 95% fail rate. She was in love, and her assault team will have him. Joker loved these days. It reminded him of being freed for the first time from his father. The exhilaration of no daddy standing over him. Batman was after the Riddler. Freeze was busy building his machines. Croc was playing with King Shark. And all he had to do was worry about the police. The air was sour. Van Zandt, old boy, did you save me for yourself? Or was that just coincidence? Man, I love that man. I should definitely push to get him back in that clown suit he loved so much. The whole black suit thing really is overdone. What are they so afraid of? Putting his hands on his tilted head, thinking dramatically. Do they have the nerve to be afraid of something more than me? He thumped his fist while stomping his foot. How dare they? I'm the Joker. His eyes lowered to the darkness. I think I need to get that bomb off Nigma's arms. He never was that strong. I'll be doing him a favor. I mean, I used Two-Face. To use Two-Face is one thing, but to partner up with them, it's so sad. He tries so hard. Oh well, he's a good distraction nonetheless. Superman landed in Gotham Contour Park, and the plant made scarf he was wearing dropped off and turned into ivy. She listened to the pheromones in the air, listening to the shake of the branches of the trees. None could find him. The wretch put himself indoors. Potted plants don't act right anymore and can't be expected to tell anything, so she can't get any good intel from them. Superman, do you know the face of the Riddler? Yes. Then find him. He's inside something. Yes. The crowd cheered when Superman landed. When Ivy showed up there, they scattered. These are the things that don't get unnoticed. Dick watched Alfred work seeking the pieces the Batwave audio had collected. Most just conversation, since the new driveways were built in. Finished, they had all kinds of time on their hands. He even asked Batman if it was a good idea to let the boy remote drive the ground, or maybe start with the water vehicles. Stay on top of them. It's always been a good idea to have multiple sightings of me from all different parts of the city. It keeps them from finding me. Start with the submarine. Last thing we need is them to think there's two of me and one's incompetent. So Grayson went about his path, never letting anyone override the other. Batman's one rule was 95% minimum on every task. If school got hard, all attention turns to that, even if it meant no repetition days, which he had really fallen dizzy for. He slowed his pace down and now aims at precision of form. Then when it comes to his riddling, he had surpassed the retired MI6 operative and decided to begin dabbling in the computer programming. It wasn't good, but the bat was full on. Superman's will was strong. Ivy could feel in his flying over the last few hours or so. It's becoming skittish and slow. She doused him again, but that was the last of her modified elixir. She shouldn't have been so rushed. She was so eager to find the Riddler, and Batman being the obstacle he is, she didn't have time to integrate the upgrade potency back into her, basically upgrading her lips from the weak version to her amplified version. Now was she doing it again? She has a thing for Batsy. She don't want him dead. Superman was just a shield. Shit, she can't hit him with the non-amplified stuff. It would most likely snap him out of it. Looking down on the Man of Steel's shoulders, this is worse than tampering with fire. But she rested in the fact that Superman didn't hold grudges. There was something about the boys in blue who wear the underwear on the outside, to where you could expect that they will always forgive. Joker, on the other hand, deserved the title of King of Gotham's underworld. He kept tabs on everyone. He pulled out his pink cell phone and sped dial 9, which informed Harley personally to get him as the others went on reconnaissance. He knelt down and quietly picked up the lock, quietly bent down and picked the lock to the Riddler's hideout. The Harlequin walked up behind him. "Oh, my love, you know me so well." She was holding the hollowed out mallet, just the one I needed. "I figured you would with all the TV news and the sticky bomb and the I figured you would with all the TV news with that old stinky tongue Riddler. I hoped and hoped and hoped and hoped so much you was gonna find his bomb. Yes, yes, yes. A dirty bomb, such a pretty dream. Curdled all my goodies into knots. And that stinky old tongue goes and has it. Click. Not for long, Puddin'. It. Let's take it off his fingers. Let's take it off his hands. Weak hands." Shh. Putting his fingers to his mouth. By the time Batman got there, Harley had already disappeared with the bomb inside of the hammer. It didn't take long to tie the other two up, then press the button on his bat belt, telling Alfred he needs the Batmobile for pickup. Then turned to his attention back to the Riddler. "Where is Enigma?" Enigma would never open his mouth against the Joker. He knew all too well how deep his revenge can go. This all didn't matter at all, as Superman arrived, crashing right into the ground, hard. Ivy whispered in his ear, "What's wrong?" "Kryptonite. It's in the area. Depending on amount, how far it intensity affects me." Batman heard the whole conversation. Even one drop will affect him the same amount as a lot, but it's so far away. The distance changes with the amount. "Ivy," he screamed, thinking over the implication of what he heard. Instant affects him at full strength at any distance depicted by amount. And the distance is depicted by amount. 85% down just for one drop. Man, he botched up this time. And I said, get him. Batman knew how they affected him, just not the source. Cal was fast, but Batman's eyes were faster, with him affected by the kryptonite. He only had to weed out the things that belong here. Riddler wouldn't need kryptonite. Then there it was, shining so bright he couldn't believe he missed it. Joker was wearing a kryptonite ring. Was this on purpose? He rushed over, but was hit hard by Superman, and this time he wasn't wearing a titanium suit of armor. He went dizzy and screamed, "Superman, help me!" The sound reached deep into his soul, past the kryptonite, past the elixir, past Ivy's will. He shook himself dizzy, throwing up, and fell down onto the ground, dry heaving. He raised his head from the ground, Ivy's voice blurred with the rest, all together, helping him gain focus. His eyes focused to the screen. Batman was fighting to get up. "Batman? Ivy's on your neck." It all rushed him, and he grabbed the scarf and tossed it to the side. It opened up. like a parachute before turning into the Green Girl. Joker Joker loves girls, whistling loud to the nearly naked plant. Batman grabbed the ring, pulled it off, pulled the gun. Batman grabbed the ring, pulled the gun-shaped long shot off his back, attached the ring to the hook, and fired it as far as it reaches. The long hook shot goes 1,500 feet, as opposed to the regular grapple hook tractor beam that's on his belt and gloves that's only 500 feet. Superman shook off the nausea feeling. Ivy deconstructed into the soil, and the police kicked in the door. Kal-El grabbed the broken Batman and disappeared out of the warehouse. Alfred, abort. He's passed out. Or Alfred, abort. And Batman passed out. Superman took Bruce home through the cave entrance, half because he wanted to meet the boy Wonder, who stole Bruce's heart so much Batman had to take him in. Dick was in shock, frozen solid. He placed Bruce on the surgery table next to the Batwave. Kal looked at Alfred. So he can solve cases from his deathbed? Alfred shook his head in agreement. Superman looked at Bruce's ribs. It's only bruising and fatigue. Grayson was still frozen and watched Superman tap the emblem on his chest, causing the suit to become like blue crystals and fold back down into his chest tattoo. He was still wearing his day off clothes, so couldn't see the tattoos. The boy was stunned. The oddly shaped muscle man, who was muscular, way too big for the oversized frame, transformed into a typical guy as the suit disappeared. It's sort of a cloaking device, but turning to show the cover of the tattoo, he tapped it. This is like a foggy appearance appeared around him and disappeared, removing the cloak, leaving him in his non-human form, but still wearing his day off clothes. I can't believe I got beat by a plant. What are you gonna do to prevent that next time? The exhausted Clark looked over at the eager boy and understood. Oh, that's why Batman wanted you. I'm going to sleep. This way, sir. I'll show you to a guest room. Finish, end. The end. Wayne made sure to do the fair day anyway, and let Nigma judge from Arkham Asylum via TV.